My name's Dave Culross. I'm the drummer currently for the band HatePlow on tour in Europe. Uh, I listen to What's Metal when I'm over in Germany, and everyone else should too. I don't know why you wouldn't.
That's very nice. All right. So you're a hardworking guy. So maybe you can just sum up some of the names you played in, some of the bands you played in so far.
Well, I did Malevolent Creation. My first band I did was Disgorged out of Rochester, New York. Then I did Malevolent Creation. After working with Malevolent for a while, I got some calls to do studio work, and I decided that I still wanted to stick with just doing a band. I didn't want to start doing a lot of session work, so because things weren't working out with Malevolent, I ended up doing Suffocation. I did about a year and a half, almost 2 years with Suffocation, and went back to Malevolent Creation because there was a lineup change, so I figured things would be a little different. And I basically did the Envenomed record the same way as I did the Fine Art of Murder. I just walked right in and ended up recording pretty quick. So after that, I ended up doing the Gorgasm and the Incantation all within about a 10-day span. I did the Incantation in 5 days, flew over to Chicago, and then did the Gorgasm the next 5 days. Um, After that, I ended up doing the Suffocation EP. The Suffocation EP was just before all that. Um, so Incantation, the Gorgasm. What else did I do? Well, I've got a bunch of stuff online as well that's coming up. I'm be doing the next Disincarnate record. I'm gonna be doing a Death tribute record. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm doing a band in Long Island where I live now, a band called Pummel. So it's also heavy metal, but it's a little different. It's not quite all extreme grind and death metal and all that. It's just some different stuff.
So your main focus seems to be death metal. So how did you slip into that musical style? Have you played drums before or?
I was into real extreme music when I was about 10 and 11 years old, 12 years old even, and I decided that when I was playing the drums that I just wanted to really push myself to any limit that I could, and it seemed like metal was the only music that was really making the drummer go to his extremes. So I decided to go in that direction. I think it just sounded cool. So at that point, I just focused all my drumming ability towards being able to be a metal drummer rather than what I was schooled in, the marching drumming. So I just took everything that I learned from the marching drumming, tried to apply it to the death metal. It seemed to work pretty good because everything is all about the speed in death metal and being smooth with it. And the marching was pretty much the same thing, so it worked out getting schooled in the one and having interest in the other because it all worked together pretty well.
But marching drumming is a lot focused on the hands, I think. Yeah, but what? Yeah, how do you what imply your feet in there? So is that a little bit difficult or?
Well, I took what I learned in my hands, which was basically the independence, the separation of limb to limb, and applied it to my feet so that when I did the stuff in my hands, I just practiced doing consistent things, ostinatos with my feet, while I was doing other stuff with my hands, and be able to create an independence again between hand and foot. And without having done all that practice with my hands prior to that, it would have made it a lot more difficult to focus on what I was doing with my feet and just ignore my hands.
So is there still anything you think that is really difficult for you to play?
Well, any types of music? Oh, sure, sure. There's all different types of music that's difficult to play. I couldn't even start. I mean, death metal just came easy because it was fast and like I said, it was something that I was into at the time. So after doing it for 10 years, it just becomes rote. It's a second nature thing. Um, I don't play a lot of jazz or Latin or stuff like that, and for me to sit down and say that I could just play another hour set like we do with death metal, I'm sure it wouldn't happen as easily as it does with this stuff. I mean, I can sit down and do it, but it's not going to be anywhere near as fluid as it would be with metal or rock or something like that. Just because I don't practice it as much as I would with this stuff.
So, what does it take to get you for doing a drumming job? So, Malevolent Creation or even now HatePlow are quite big names. Gorgasm is still quite underground. So, what does it take to get you for doing the drumming?
I think the most important thing is that the band has to have some integrity. I'm not just gonna whore myself out to any band, you know. I gotta like the band first off, and then if I like the music, what's going on, then I'll see, I'll try it out or whatever, and if it goes, it goes. Most of the time, people call me up. I don't try and look for anything. It's usually someone's in need of a drummer, and they'll call me up or something. That's how it's been so far.
So, I know some of our listeners who are doing the drums or are just even studying playing the drums. Um, what would be your advice to them to become a good death metal or extreme metal drummer? So, what should they focus on?
Uh, it's a little technical, but I'd say to put it in simple terms, it would be called the single stroke roll, and it's just back and forth between your hands or your feet. It's probably the most commonly used uh, technique in any metal. I mean, it's just back and forth. It's as fast as you can go, and as slow as you can go, and as smooth as you can go. That's pretty much the basis. That and the double stroke roll, two strokes in each hand. That's the most common thing that any metal drummer should practice if he wants to be good at it, because that's, like I said, the most common thing used. Rudiments are just practice your rudiments. You know, the drum rudiments that they have out there are just great for getting your hands really tight. And like I say, you can ignore your hands and work on your feet at that point. And try putting the rudiments you learn with your hands to your feet. It's difficult. Creates a lot of different things to do, a lot of different feels and stuff like that.
Do you have the typical drummer sickness to beat on everything that you see? So a lot of drummers that I meet are doing stuff like him all the time, not just before a live show. So is that something that somehow sticks to you?
Sometimes I will. I try not to because I know it annoys people too. So you know.
Okay. What's the situation with Suffocation? Are you still in contact with these guys? This is a very highly requested band in Europe right now. I know that they have been scheduled for the Full Force open air later this year, but they already cancelled that show. Well, maybe you can give us some news about them.
The only thing that I know about them for sure is that they have gotten back together. They're playing a couple of shows, and I don't really know a lot more about why they'd cancel any of the festivals or anything like that. Uh, the only thing that I know is that they were trying to get the original lineup as close as they could to the first record, and they had a lot of requests to get back together. Like you said, their name is becoming pretty big in the underground scene again, and they've been asked to do a number of shows, and I know that they want to make sure that they're ready before they come out and do it again, because they are who they are, and they want to make sure that they don't ruin the name because it's of such a high stature.
So, some people told me yesterday that you did have any problems to leave the States due to legal problems. The last years, is that right, or is it just a rumor, or what's about?
I don't have any problems leaving the States. I've never been charged a felony or anything like that. I'm okay.
Maybe that's just a problem that sticks to the Malevolent guys. I don't know. Yeah, okay. So our show is called What's Metal? So what does metal mean to you? Is it just a certain form of lifestyle or pure music? I don't know.
It definitely started out music and then became a lifestyle. I think once it's in you, it's not something you just ignore. It's something that'll always be with me. I'll probably be 90 years old and say, "Hey, turn some fucking metal on. I hate this, pussy shit." I'll always have a bone in me that's gonna want to hear some metal. So definitely. As well, I'll probably always want to play metal, even though I can't when I'll be too old with arthritis. I'm still gonna want to play fast. It's in me now for sure.